In this video, we are going to compare and order rational and irrational numbers. We are going to review how to do that using a number line. Remember that on a number line, numbers to the right are greater than numbers to the left. So in relation to each other, you would want to think about which one is on the right-hand side and which one is on the left-hand side in order to compare them. So let's start with an example where we have to compare both positive and negative numbers, and we want to put the numbers in order from least to greatest. Keep in mind it's very important to read the directions. So it says from least to greatest, so make sure that you pay attention to the directions. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these numbers on the number line. So negative 0.593 is between 0 and negative 1. And here is negative 0.5. So negative 0.593 is to the left of it, closer to negative 1. So I will say it's somewhere maybe right in there. So negative 0.593 will be there. So if I do negative 0.572, negative 0.572 is closer to negative 0.5. So we're going to put that one there. And then we jump to positive numbers. So if I take a look at the positive numbers here, what I want to do, I can see that 5.8 will be way over to the right, so I'm going to hold that one off for later. But 0.58 and 0.563 is a common problem for students. What you want to do is have the same number of digits after the decimal point. So 0.580 and 0.563. So if I read this in mathematical terms, this one is 580 thousandths, and this one is 563 thousandths. So when you do it that way, you can see that 580 thousandths is bigger than 563 thousandths. Now let's go back to the number line. So if I say this over here is 1, and I say this is 0.5 here, 0.58 might be right about there. So I'm going to put 0.58 right about there. And then with 0.563, 0.563 is going to be closer to 0.5. So I'm going to have that one there. And then 5.8 is actually way over here. It's a positive 5, so it's going to be the farthest on the right. So let's go ahead and order these from least to greatest. So the least is on the far left. So in order from least to greatest, I'm going to have negative 0.593. Then I'm going to have negative 0.572. And then I'm going to have 0.563. Then 0.58. And then 5.8. So when it's all in decimal form, you compare the place values to help you out. But we are going to have problems where some of them are decimals, others are in different forms. So let's try this one. Now, as you can see, in this problem, it says order from greatest to least. So make sure that you read those directions, greatest to least. All right, so what we're going to do on this one is we are going to convert all of the numbers to be in decimal form, or approximate them to decimal form, and then we can compare them. So the first number you see is 2 square root of 19. That means 2 times the square root of 19. So on your calculator, and I would highly recommend that you do this with me, you want to do 2 times the square root. So you can hit the multiplication symbol if you want to. So 2 times, and then to do the square root, we do the second button, and then we do the x squared button. So that should give you the square root symbol on your calculator, and then you would type in 19. So 2 times the square root of 19. If you did it correctly, you should get approximately 8.7177978, etc. So what you want to do is you're going to round it. Since these two up here are rounded to the nearest hundredth, let's go ahead and round this to the nearest thousandth just in case. So the nearest thousandth is the 7 there, so it's tenths, hundredths, thousandths after the decimal point. We're going to look at this 7 to determine if this should go up or not. Since it's 5 or more, you would want to round it up. So this is approximately 8.718, approximately. Then we need to convert the 76 over 9. So that's simply 76 divided by 9. And if you do that on your calculator, you get 8.4 repeating. So let's write that down. 76 over 9 is approximately, or is exactly, 8.4 repeating. Okay, so now we have enough information to order, and remember, we're going from greatest to least. So we want the one that's going to be on the right-hand side on our number line first. So greatest, these are both 9s right here, 9 and 9. So we compare the tenth spot, 3 compared to 5, so 5 is greater. So that's where we're going to start. 9.58 is our first number in our answer. And then it would be 9.35. So then we have to compare the 8.4 repeating with the 8.718. So when we compare those, we're comparing the tenth spot, 7, to this tenth spot, 4. So 7 is greater. So this one goes next in my list of answers. So it's 8.718, but what I want to do is I want to put the original problem. So the original problem was 2 times the square root of 19. We could also say 2 radical 19, which means 76 over 9 is the least number. It's the smallest number, 8.4 repeating. This is an example where we will have to compare rational and irrational numbers in order to determine which one is the best deal. So it says, for people who prefer pizza, the local lasagna shack also offers thin crust pizzas in 3 different shapes. Each costs $20. Which deal is the best and which deal is the worst? Explain. Well, the best deal would be the one that you get the most pizza out of, and the worst deal is the one that you get the least pizza out of, only because it says that they are all thin crust pizzas. So they're all the same kind of pizza, it's just the shape that changes. So what we need to do is figure out how much pizza is in each one, and then the one with the biggest is the best deal, and the one with the smallest is the worst deal. So how much pizza would be the area of the pizza? So we have to review how to find the area of a circle, a square, and a rectangle. So let's review the circle first. So deal 1 is a circle, and the area of a circle is the formula A equals pi r squared. Now, we should know that pi times radius squared is going to give us an irrational number because pi is irrational. So we're going to have to approximate it. Let's plug in the numbers. Pi times the radius. Now let's review here. It shows that 18 goes from here to here. Well, that's called the diameter. So half of that, from the center to the outside, is the radius. So the radius is 9. So we're going to plug 9 in for the radius. So on my calculator, I'm going to type in pi times 81 because 9 squared is 81. When I do that, and again, it's in your benefit to go ahead and do this along with me on your calculator, I end up with the area being 254.469, and it goes on forever. So those are my 3 dots. And then the unit that goes with area would be square inches. So let's move on to deal 2, which is a square. And the area of a square is length times width, which is the same thing. So we could also say x squared or side squared. So the area of the square pizza is 16 squared. And if you type that into your calculator, you get 256. So the area of the pizza in deal 2 is 256 square inches. And let's do deal 3, which is a rectangle. The area of a rectangle is length times width. So in this case, it's 22 times 12. So when you type in 22 times 12 to your calculator, you get the area of that pizza is 264 square inches. So now it's time to compare, and this isn't too difficult to compare because the whole numbers make it easy. So if we're comparing 254.469 that goes on forever to 256 to 264, it's easy to see that the best deal is deal 3. So that's the best because you get the most amount of pizza for the $20. The worst deal is the one that has the least area, and the worst deal in this case is deal 1. That has the smallest amount of area. So here is a case where we had to compare irrational numbers with rational numbers. Deal 1 was an irrational number because the area of a circle has the number pi in it. When you multiply a number by pi, usually you get an irrational number. The other numbers were rational. 256 and 264 are rational numbers.